DC Comics has some huge changes in store for the shape of their entire publishing line over the year 2023. In fact, the publisher has already been teasing some of these new changes with the recent announcement that there would be something interesting that would happen in the final issue of their landmark event series, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths #7. In fact, the cover for that issue teased a new dawn of the DC universe that DC has finally unveiled today, featuring a new line-wide initiative with a relaunch for several brand new titles. My name is Ariko Braddock, and let's go ahead and take a look at DC's Dawn of DC publishing line and see all of the new changes and titles the publisher has in store for us. Before we get deeper into the video, wanted to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button as well in order to go ahead and support everything we do here. And without further ado, let me go ahead and just unveil this brand new Dawn of DC storyline. We're going to be taking a look at this article from Popverse written by Graham McMillan to analyze all of the new announcements and titles that the publisher has unleashed. Let's go ahead and take a look. This article is called DC Unveils Dawn of DC Initiative with 10 major new ongoing comics and 10 more to come. And let's see what they have to say here. So December's final issue of Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths has already been announced as heralding something called the Dawn of DC. But now DC is revealing what that actually means. So post Dark Crisis and after the subsequent Lazarus Planet event, which we've also covered on the channel, DC is going to launch these brand new 20 titles featuring interesting creative teams. We've even taken a look at some of the creative teams DC has had to offer by looking at a big new relaunch for the Superman line. In a statement, DC publisher and chief creative officer Jim Lee said about the new initiative, after the near multiverse ending events in Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths and DC Universe Lazarus Planet, the DC Universe will be heading toward the light, with brand new series and story arcs from some of the top creative members in comics. Dawn of DC is one of our most ambitious initiatives ever and is a chance for us to tell bigger and bolder stories across our line. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the titles that were announced today. So we have a brand new Doom Patrol comic. This is written by Dennis Culver and Chris Burnham, and is spinning out of the events in Lazarus Planet. Seems like a really interesting story with a fascinating creative team here. Dennis Culver and Chris Burnham are both really fantastic creators. Plus, we have a brand new Superboy title, Superboy Man of Tomorrow, from Kenny Porter and Janoy Lindsay. So this was the winner of DC's Round Robin competition and follows Superboy Connor Kent on his journey of self-discovery. It looks like this series is going to be published over in April. Plus, we have a new Green Lantern run with Green Lantern Hal Jordan by Mariko Tamaki and an unnamed artist. It looks like this series is also coming out over in April. Plus, we even have a John Stewart series in the form of Green Lantern John Stewart. This is by Philip Kennedy Johnson, who's just done a phenomenal work, writing action comics and the entire War-World saga. That's going to be an interesting one, as well as Green Arrow from Joshua Williamson, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths writer, and Sean Isaacsy, who's also a really strong up-and-coming artist. Following the search for the missing Oliver Queen as the results of events in Dark Crisis, this one is coming out in April as well. Plus, it looks like we have a ginormous Batman Brave and the Bold title by Tom King, Mitch Gerads, Guillaume March, Gabriel Hardman, Dan Morrow, Rob Williams, and more. That is going to be a really big comic just based on the creative team alone. That's coming over in May. Next up, we have a new Cyborg book with a creative team that is coming on the way, but this book is also coming out in May. Very exciting. We're getting a Shazam title from Mark Waid, comic historian, legend, plus Dan Moore, an excellent modern DC artist. And it looks like this features the return of Billy and is coming in June. We have also a Penguin title from Tom King and Stefano Gaudiano, which sees Oswald Cobblepot forced back into organized crime by the US government. This one we're also getting in June. Also, we have Steelworks, which is something that does not yet have a creative team, featuring both John Henry Irons and his niece Natasha. This is also coming out in June. Plus, it looks like Popverse has a look at some of the covers for these new titles. Let's go ahead and take a look for these covers. Love this Shazam cover. It's gorgeous, as well as this one featuring the Joker. And the Superboy Man of Tomorrow first issue looks incredible as well. Really enjoying some of this art and the new costumes that this team has for the Unstoppable Doom Patrol. I think that's a book that we're going to want to go ahead and keep an eye on. In fact, take a look at this. We even have some artwork for Unstoppable Doom Patrol. This is an uncolored first page from Culver and Burnham's new run on the series. I'm a huge fan of this property, and I think this looks incredible already. I really love everything Burnham has done over at DC, and I especially like how this Grant Morrison influence that I think was part of the kind of the original, Grant Morrison Batman run that Chris Burnham contributed to. I can see that influence here, which I really enjoy. Also, DC is saying that more titles are going to be revealed in the second half of the year. And it looks like we have just a little bit more news about some of these art assets, which look absolutely gorgeous here. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what else we have to offer. So it looks like Dawn at DC is first kicking off here with January's Action Comics 1051, leading into a new status quo for the Superman titles. And that is the beginning of the Dawn of DC event. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these other covers from Popverse as well. There's a look at the upcoming kind of Superman changes for the line. I'm really glad to see all of these different Superman characters, united now by DC. I'm really glad that they're using so many, parts of their legacy to inform future stories. There's a look at a nice David Nakayama cover with Power Girl. And there's a really gorgeous Superman cover. Another Elite Week Superman cover looking really gorgeous. It's a great Power Girl. Really like what they've been doing in this recent run of Action Comics. And I really enjoy Jorge Fornes's art. This is a really, really kind of like dark and noir look at everything they've been doing with this character over in that book. Really glad to see this cover represented here. So overall, we have some really big changes in the DC universe. I'm very happy that DC is announcing a new publishing initiative. I always think that announcing these new publishing initiatives really helps kind of DC as a whole refocus their entire line of books and make sure that everything they're publishing kind of makes sense and has a place in the publishing line. And I'm just glad to see that there's so many titles and books on the way from DC. The Unstoppable Doom Patrol is, for me, the clear winner of this new batch of titles. I'm really curious to see what Dennis Culver and Chris Burnham are going to cook up in the title. I'm a big fan of some of those new Doom Patrol costumes, and I think that DC has a very bright future. We're going to be continuing to publish more videos talking about all these new DC titles, so please go ahead and keep it locked over to the channel. Really appreciate all your support, and make sure to keep an eye out for upcoming videos. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.